it comes to talk. We've got so much to cover on the program today. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to start with the Alex Jones Tucker Carlson interview. Then I'll get into Hunter Biden. I was going to talk about the Hunter Biden stuff first, but I think I'm going to get into the Alex Jones Tucker Carlson interview first, and then we'll get into that. And I do hope that those of you who saw that interview with Alex Jones will call in, because it was really good. Okay, we have 15 seconds. Stand by.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, yes it is Friday already, December 8th, 2023. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. We've got a lot to cover. I am going to get into all the details with the Hunter Biden very scummy story, I must say. Very scummy story. From, I don't know, Mike, if this is a charger or a battery drainer. I plugged in this charger in the studio into my iPad, and it's lost 8% of the battery since I plugged it in. Am I charging another device with my iPad? I don't know. Well, hopefully the iPad will last me through the show, since all my show prep is on my iPad today, and I'm only at 88%. So hopefully the 88% will get me through until 9 a.m. So I am going to break down and go through everything with Hunter Biden, which is huge. And Hunter and the Bidens are in big, big trouble for the first time in their lives. It's also open phones on Friday's show. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in and talk about anything and everything on your mind, okay? You're not limited to the topics that I'm going to bring up on the program today, although I hope you do comment on the stories that I do bring up. But you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Our number is toll-free no matter where you're listening to us at 1-888-GO-KANE. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to start, though, talking about Tucker Carlson's latest interview on Twitter, and it was with Alex Jones. And I almost didn't watch this interview. I watched it last night. I almost did not watch it because I wasn't, as good as Tucker is, I wasn't really expecting much out of the interview. I've seen a lot of interviews over the years with Alex Jones, and I thought, well, what's Alex Jones going to say that I haven't? I was fascinated by that interview. Fascinated by it. And as crazy as this seems, every time I watch a Tucker Carlson interview, I say to myself, that's the best interview I've ever seen Tucker do. And his interviews are so good. I've not seen a Tucker Carlson interview that was not good. Not yet. Have you? I'm talking about since he's done his new Twitter thing. I'm not talking about the Fox show and stuff, because a lot of that is stuff he may not have wanted to do. But on his Twitter show, every interview that I've seen has been absolutely amazing, including his interview with Alex Jones. And it was a longer interview for Tucker. It was about 90 minutes. I was fascinated by it. And I'm looking at Alex Jones in a whole new perspective today than I ever have before. And I haven't really had time to process why that is, because I watched the interview, went right to sleep last night. I watched it. I was laying in bed and watched it on my iPhone. And, the thing about Alex Jones is that I don't listen to a lot of other talk shows, okay? I don't listen to a lot of other podcasts. I don't watch a lot of people's news programs, discussion shows on the issues. And the reason I do that, there's a few reasons, but the main couple of reasons are, one, I don't want other people's opinions and analysis to, filter into my brain and influence me. I want to have my own thoughts, And another reason is, a lot of times, that if you listen to a lot of other shows and you hear someone talk about something, sometimes I've done this. I've had this happen to me. I'll say, oh, they already covered that. I'm not going to talk about it. So, I don't like to be influenced by other programs. So I don't really listen to a lot of other programs. I know a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but it's true for those very reasons. It never used to be that way. I used to listen to everyone's show, but I don't. I spend so much time reading and researching the news. I want to have my own thoughts. So I have not listened to Alex Jones's show all that much over the years, ever. I've listened, I've watched a couple hours at a time here or there when he had on particular interviews. Like, he interviewed Bill Clinton's black son, Danny Williams, a few years ago. I watched that. That was a very good interview. He interviewed the Obama phone lady from Cleveland a few years ago. Remember that? That was an excellent interview. The Obama phone lady was a complete fake. I was shocked when I heard that interview with the Obama phone lady. And she was in studio with Alex Jones. But other than a couple of interviews, I really have not listened to Alex Jones. I haven't. A minute here, a minute there. My exposure to Alex Jones has been mostly through two things: interviews that people have done with Alex Jones and the media caricature they've created of Alex Jones. And I have watched a lot of people interview him other than Tucker, but the interviews that I've seen with him have mostly been people that are like liberal jerks, Piers Morgan in particular, but Piers Morgan types who hate him and just want to bark at him and try to feel superior and discredit him. And then I've seen a lot of interviews with people that are interviewing Alex Jones so they can get people to listen to their show that may not normally listen, right? And this interview with Tucker Carlson with Alex Jones, I think, is the first interview that I've seen with Alex Jones when he's sitting down with someone who's his equal and who is having a real conversation with him as opposed to trying to destroy the man. So that may have something to do with it, but I think, like millions of people in this country, I haven't thought about Alex Jones that much, but I've let my opinion of Alex Jones be crafted by this fake news narrative of him, which is, it's okay. Hey, listen, better late than never to come around. I am going to start checking him out, though, just to get a feel to find out if what I saw with Tucker was real. So I'm going to start listening to him a little bit over the next few weeks just to find out if that was the real Alex Jones for sure. I think it was. And I have two clips of the interview. One in particular is very important that I'm going to play after the break. But what I was very blown away in the beginning of the interview. Tucker Carlson put together a montage of predictions that Alex Jones has made over the years that have come true, and some of them are pretty far-fetched. But the one that I thought was amazing, so did Tucker, is the summer before 9/11. He was not only predicting 9/11, he was predicting Osama bin Laden sending planes to crash into the World Trade Center. And he played the clips, Tucker, and there were many others too, but that one just was like, what? Who was thinking of that? And that really, I was like, wow, I never realized how often he's been right in these very bold predictions, Alex Jones. And yeah, I know. And a lot of you I know have been listeners of his very regularly for 20 years or however long. I get it. Hey, listen, I've been wrong about him based on what I saw in that interview last night, and that's okay, As long as when you're wrong about something, you can admit it and move on and correct the wrong, you're okay. People are wrong all the time, but I've been very wrong about Alex Jones. That doesn't mean that he's always right, but he's very interesting. And Tucker was talking to Alex Jones quite a bit about these predictions. How has he been so right on these crazy predictions like Osama bin Laden crashing planes in the World Trade Center? And he went through his process of reading these government reports and think tank reports and all of this. Plus he has sources, and he takes in a lot of data and he does analysis. It's almost like an intelligence agency doing analysis of things, and that's how he comes up with these very bold predictions. And he talked about some things that are going on right now, and I was very much impressed by it. So after the break, I've got a clip I want to play from the interview. I got two, but one of them's a serious one that I want to share, and we've got to talk about. I'd also like to hear your thoughts on that interview. I know I'm not the only one who saw it. I didn't look and see how many people have watched that interview so far, but it's had to be millions. And it'll go up and up and up and up because they're both quite popular. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on that interview as well. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty blown away by it. I'll get it after I finish up with this in the next segment. I'll get into Hunter. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again today because it was 90 minutes and I was a little tired. We'll be back shortly, guys.
Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE. Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quick line over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
All right, we're back after this commercial.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate. I was a customer there many years before they were advertising with us here on the Steve Kane Show, and I found them out of necessity. I had a Jeep Wrangler, which I would recommend no one buy. Putting the top up and down on a Jeep Wrangler is worse than hanging wallpaper in your bathroom. It is such a nuisance. They hold their value, though. When I sold it for almost what I paid for it. But what happens with those things, with the Jeep Wrangler, is the top becomes such a nuisance. You stop putting it up all the time, and you get a lot of rain in the car, so I was having electrical problems, all kinds of stuff, and I had to get rid of it. But anyway, I found Friendly Tire because it was a four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler. I bought it. It had those huge tires on it. It was so cool. And then I needed new tires, and I priced the tires. Then I knew why I got such a good deal on the Jeep, between that and the top. And Friendly Tire in Margate has the lowest prices on tires you will find anywhere. He has thousands of used tires in stock, good used tires, at great prices. But new tires are the lowest prices you will find anywhere. He has all the name brands you love, too. Firestone, Bridgestone, Pirelli. And, he even has great deals on run flats. You will not find prices at this low anywhere else. And all the cars of my family are on the road, on tires, from Friendly Tire in Margate. Now, I'm going to give you the number. When you call Friendly Mike, he'll give you a price right over the phone. But remember, that price is out the door and on the road. Friendly Mike does not charge you to balance the tire. He doesn't charge you to mount your tire. And he doesn't charge you to dispose of your old tires, okay? So the price he quotes you over the phone is out the door and on the road. Remember that, okay? That's right. Here's his number, 954-977-9445. In fact, my wife's Mini Cooper has run flats, and if it were not for Friendly Tire, I would never have bought a car with run flats. Run flats you go anywhere else, they are a fortune. Not at Friendly Tire. 954-977-9445. All right, give him a call. He does tire repairs, too. All right, let's go. It's open phones, remember, Open Mag and Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Cindy from Florida, from Orange County.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, everything. But anyway, I want to get back to Alex.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago when we started the Tea Party here, my partners would say, do not say anything don't take anything that Alex Jones says. But we were telling the story of the globalists back then. Donald Trump knows about this. He understands about it. He has had many conversations with people who understand the one world government. That's what Alex is talking about.
Yeah.
Tucker knows about it, but it's all coming out now, the truth. And I would suggest, if anybody wants to hear, a great guy, Alex Newman, who was on Alex's show last week. He lives in Florida. He's a great guy. He has 5 children. He runs around the world exposing what these people have in store for us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the fight we're in. Trump understands it. That's why they hate him so much, because he's trying to remove us from that. And this was all the way back to the 1930s. You can look at Woodrow Wilson with the League of Nations. You can go all the way back, the Bush's Goldwater. Phyllis Schlafly wrote about it. Who was the first person that supported Trump? Phyllis Schlafly in her 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote about it. She didn't call them globalists. She called them kingmakers, like the Rockefellers and all.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny. All this truth is coming out now, and it's wonderful, and this is all because of our great President Trump, who understands and who wants to help America and Americans, real people, you and me and everybody else in this call and listening all across the country. This is really important. So please learn about it, and you can always contact me. I have much information, and we support Alex Jones now. We always have, but nobody could ever say that because everybody thought he was a kook. He's not a kook.
No, he's not a kook. He's not a kook. All right, Cynthia, I appreciate the call. And, the thing about this interview that Tucker did with Alex Jones, the best way I could describe it is he humanized Alex Jones, because Alex Jones has become a caricature, and I was surprised when they took him down, quite frankly, because it had happened a few years ago, because Hillary Clinton was always referencing Alex Jones. And I thought they wanted to keep Alex Jones around as a boogeyman, but he's too right about too many things. I have 2 clips. One is a funny clip, which I don't know if I'll play, but there's a serious clip that I pulled off of the Alex Jones interview with Tucker, and it's about Joe Biden. And this is scary, and I believe this is 100% accurate. Listen to this, Alex Jones in the Tucker interview talking about Joe Biden.
He is completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years, it's getting worse, naked in the White House. In the middle of the night, doesn't know who he is. They have to give him a bunch of drugs, a bunch of amphetamines in the morning, and they've got to drug him at night. Sometimes he'll be out for the morning for a while, and then comes back out at night for a ball. That's when there's a real problem.
He is on drugs. I have established that, and I know someone who witnessed it. I'm not guessing at this. I know someone personally who witnessed him taking amphetamines And this was during the 2020 election.
So how's this going to, that's huge. I know you don't play games. You've been.
No, I don't play games with it.
Okay. So amphetamines, isn't that what Bill Cosby was using as his date rape drug, amphetamines? And that, that fits in because Biden's an old guy, so his drug of choice is like from the 70s, amphetamines. And what Alex Jones said there, I believe 100% to be factual, and it was backed up by Tucker and his sources, that Joe Biden is hopped up on amphetamines. He walks around the White House at night naked, not knowing where he is. And that's not funny. A lot of people will see that and laugh at that and think it's funny. It's frightening. It's frightening. It really, truly is frightening. And what's even more frightening about it is that everyone in the White House press corps has to know this. The White House is a small little place. That house was built a long time ago. Ever been to the White House? It's shocking how small the White House is. They all know this. The White House staff, they all know this. This is one of the biggest cover-ups of our time, and it is endangering all of our lives. It's bad enough that he's corrupt, but that he's wandering around at night lost, not knowing where he is. And this guy's making decisions that are affecting all of our life. It's no wonder that the whole world has gone down the tubes, not just our economy, but the whole world. And every single person at the White House who is covering this up, they're criminals. These are all felonies. If he's in the condition that Alex Jones is describing, who's really running the country? Whoever is running the country is not elected. So who is running the government? Who is? Oh, so, somebody texted me and said Bill Cosby used antihistamines. Really? That's weird. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, that makes sense, though. Think about it. Go back to with the amphetamines. Go back to the whole cocaine gate thing, where they found that baggie of cocaine at the White House.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff about him doing the cocaine, we all speculated on that at the time, and now we have a good feeling. And not only might he have been using the cocaine, but he might have been using, it might not have been. It might.
Well, this is what I know. Okay, that I believe Alex Jones, and the amphetamines is backed up by Tucker, who has another source that's seen him take amphetamines. Okay, so we have two credible, independent sources telling us about the drug of choice there. And this means that everyone who was around him in the White House, from Jean-Pierre on down, know that this is going on. They know what his condition is, and they're covering it up. These are all crimes. Every single one of these people, by not intervening, by not reporting, is committing a crime, on top of the fact that they're endangering the world.
And that's the thing. This is a guy that, and we know how evil this guy is. He's a crime boss.
Mm-hmm.
Is a crime boss.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And as far as him and Hannah goes, I wasn't. There's no love in that entire family. Families are supposed to love each other. There's no love in that entire family. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he scapegoats his own son.
Yeah.
His own.
Well, there's a love in the Biden family. There's a love of money and vices. Money and vices. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. It's 28 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, now let's get into Hunter. What's his name?
Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, Truly's Traffic Check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. I-95 northbound Rocket Club emergency. Vehicle about to cut shoulder. I-95 southbound Bridges, Southern Boulevard, Wilson Police activity on the right shoulder, Public Lane. And special person full speed over Turks. Further south in the Broward County, each Carlson class in the right lanes block along I-95 southbound at Sheridan Street. This one is sponsored by Ritz that takes the welcome over to the sweater party offers. Gift exchange or holiday dinner at Nana's. Ritz Crackers is always there bringing friends and family together to celebrate. So grab a box or two of Ritz Crackers for your next holiday gathering and make this season one to remember with Ritz. Tasty welcome. No shop. Tomorrow. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Sunday, December 10th, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports card and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and JSA autograph authentication, plus free admission and parking, prizes, and great food and drink options. Plus, catch all the exciting OTB racing and poker action and big games on our Super Sports TVs. PBKC tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com. Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank in your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life far more difficult than it should. Men, do you feel like you're aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom?
Yeah, he would. Biden, when he was vice president, it was reported that he would swim naked in the swimming pool at the vice presidential's residence in front of female Secret Service agents. Yeah, it was. He's a pervert. Biden's a complete pervert.
Call us right now and let our medical team get you out of life and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
So tired of the hassle of holiday airport travel during the holidays.
I am too. There's a better way to get there than commercial air travel. For the holidays, Millennium Jet Card is offering prime and first-class jet service from the easily accessible Boca Raton, Florida airport to Westchester, New York. When can we fly? For special holiday travel, call 561-660-8540 or visit mjc30.com and you can fly non-stop on a luxurious 30-person Embraer jet. All first-class seats. Fly one way or round trip with free parking included.
Wow, no aggravation at the airport.
For more information or to book a flight, call 561-660-8540 or go to the website for details and more information, mjc30.com. Again, the number to call for a private jet flight for the holidays is 561-660-8540.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our values and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs from asphalt, shingle, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At Laporta Contracting, family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At Laporta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Getaway on the True Oldies Challenge to send you a cruise on Margaritaville at Sea. It's a 3-day, 2-night cruise to the Bahamas with delicious island-inspired cuisine, plus amazing live entertainment, spectacular ocean breezes, and more. Just go to TrueOldiesFLA.com and register for your chance to win this wonderful cruise. And here's more great news. It's the season for savings with Margaritaville at Sea. For a limited time, Margaritaville at Sea is offering up to 60% off all cruises, cruise certificates, and their ultimate paradise pass for limitless trips to Grand Bahama in 2024. Get away to your holiday haven with Bahamas Cruises for just $79 per person. Or give the ultimate gift to the season with Bahamas Cruise certificates for 2 and earn your way onto the nice
to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, these charges against Hunter Biden in California, he's really facing jail time this time. You know, I never thought someone named Biden would be facing serious convictions that would lead to jail, but this time he is. This is hardcore stuff. They got lots of evidence, and the judge is a Trump-appointed judge, and this isn't just any Trump-appointed judge. This guy, Trump had to appoint and reappoint like three times or so. They kept returning it to Trump. They would not let this guy go through. Trump finally got him on the bench. So the establishment do not like this judge. It was very difficult for Trump to get him approved and on the federal bench. So this is not some establishment-friendly judge that is thinking about a Supreme Court appointment down the road and they don't want to rock the boat with the uniparty. This isn't that kind of guy. You know, the stories around on this tax evasion case, 9 charges, some of them are felonies. You know what's most surprising to me is Hunter Biden just takes pictures with all these prostitutes all the time. Who does that? You know, I don't know too much about prostitutes. Okay, I mean I know what they are and such, but you know that's not the world that I roll in. I mean, but there are people that do. There are people that spend a life with prostitutes, okay? That's their life. Other than Hunter Biden, think I'm about this. Other than Hunter Biden, do you know of anyone, other than maybe like some porn producer, I'm talking about someone that's outside the world of pornography, okay? Because there's a whole sex industry. Someone that's not in the sex industry, okay? Excluding sex industry people. Do you know of anyone who proudly takes pictures of themselves with prostitutes like this? I've never known someone to do something like that. If it was common, we'd see photographs of guys with prostitutes all the time. I think it's very unusual. And it goes to his arrogance. And I bet you this guy, Hunter Biden, has gotten away with everything he's ever done in his life without any consequence. Like, remember when his dad got him in the Navy and then avoiding basic and all of that, and then they did a drug test, he tested positive for cocaine. Anybody else, they'd be up on charges in the Navy. Not Hunter, life goes on, you know. So when you're dealing with people like Joe and Hunter, who have a life of vice and criminal activity going on, and they're never held accountable, and arrogance comes with that makes them feel that not only are they invincible, but they're special. You know what they remind me of, the Bidens? This may be extreme when I say this to you guys, but I think this is true. Biden's family reminds me of the Saddam Hussein family. And I remember all this. I remember Saddam Hussein's sons, Uday. What was the other one? I can't remember the other one. And they were both awful. And one of them was violent and tortured people. Like, remember, he tortured the Olympic team because they lost, drugged them through gravel pits and took cattle prods to them. And then the other brother would rape women all the time. And he went to a friend's wedding and raped the wife at the wedding. Can you imagine? He'd pick schoolgirls up off the streets and stuff like this. These were just perverted people that had no consequence. And when you're a dictator and there are no consequences, you escalate, you escalate, you escalate. And the Bidens, although they're not quite as violent, because we do have some systems in this country, okay, they're not dictators, but pretty close. They have escalated over their lives, in particular Hunter Biden, with the things that he does have gotten scummier and scummier over the years, because people like this escalate. If there's no accountability, they escalate and escalate and escalate. And, I remember after the last charges he was facing, they had that White House state dinner and Hunter was there, and I'm watching it on television. And I was shocked at the people that were lined up to meet Hunter and hug him and suck up to him. one of them was Bill Nelson, the former senator here in Florida, who was also an astronaut. He's a Democrat senator. He was our senator for a long time. Before that, he was in the House. Remember Bill Nelson? Jerk. I think he lost to Senator Scott, our former governor, in that Senate race, if I remember correctly. He was there sucking up to Hunter and some famous people. I was in shock. I wouldn't go near someone like that. But he's powerful. He's the Prince of Washington. So this story here, though, is the first time he's facing real jail time. So the question is, what's Joe going to do? You know, Joe is just as arrogant as his son, if not more arrogant. So he could pardon him. He could pardon him today. He doesn't have to wait for the conviction. He could pardon him right now and there would be no trial. Or he could ride it out and thinking that, well, they've gotten away with everything else they've done in their life. Why not this? And just keeping the case going, thinking they'll get some sweetheart deal. I don't think they're going to get a sweetheart deal from a federal judge that Trump had to put up like 3 times to get approved in the Senate, all right, to get confirmed. So I don't think that, but Joe may think that way. And when it comes down to it at the end, he may pardon him. I think their arrogance will allow them to challenge this as if they've done nothing wrong because they don't think that they've ever done anything wrong. So the judge, his name is Mark Scarsi, okay, and he's a Trump-appointed judge, of course. There are 9 charges related to taxes, including 2 felony charges for filing a false return, a felony for tax evasion, 4 failure to pay charges, and 2 charges for failure to file. Prosecutors say that Hunter spent millions for his lifestyle, which of course is drugs and hookers. The indictment states that despite receiving millions in personal income and financial support from a friend, Hunter spent his money on drugs, hookers, and girlfriends. Luxury hotels. Are they really girlfriends? If he's their sugar daddy, aren't they kind of like prostitutes too? Luxury hotels, rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. Everything he paid for except his taxes, the prosecutors allege. The defendant engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in taxes that he owed for 16 through 19. The latest allegations come as he's facing 3 felony charges. They carry a maximum 25 years. I guess that's the gun charges. So we got 25 plus 17. I mean, he's facing hardcore time. The first count is for an 18 gun purchase. Okay, and that has a sentence of 10 years. The second charge is for lying to the gun store about it, which is another 5. A third is possessing the firearm while being an addict, which is another 10. So he's facing, let's see here, 17, 27, 37, 30. He's facing 42 years in jail for these charges. And I know that some of the media and the leftists will say, well, Trump's facing 1,000 years. The difference between these charges and the charges and allegations against Trump is that Hunter's guilty of all of these things. Trump has not broken the law. He's not done anything wrong or illegal ever. Hunter is as guilty as the day is long of each and every one of these charges. Now, those sentences I gave, those are, of course, the max. But he's not a first offender. This guy's been in trouble since the beginning. And if it were not for him being in front of a Trump judge, and he's also incredibly unpopular, which I'm going to talk about after the break with the Democrats, I'd say, okay, he's not in any trouble. But this time, it's real. This time, Hunter Biden is truly, for the first time in his life, facing consequences. Now, I want to tell you guys, it is Christmas shopping season still, and everything that you purchase at MyPillow.com until the 15th of this month, when you use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, is, of course, free shipping. Mike Lindell is offering free shipping to Steve Kane listeners with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, on all MyPillow products. And it couldn't come for a better time. My daughter wants a new bed and a new mattress, and my wife bought it. Well, I guess we both bought it last night from MyPillow.com. We used the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and we've got free shipping on the bed and the mattress. And that's a big savings. On top of the deal we got on the bed and the mattress. You know, Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com, they have every kind of mattress you can imagine in every size. They sell beds and everything else. I don't talk about those too much, but they have huge deals on them, and you can get good deals. So this is the time to do your buying at MyPillow.com. Free shipping on all purchases at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Trump appointed judge, you think they could use that as leverage to have them drop all this stuff on
Oh yeah, maybe. That'd be nice.
get him to, be able to get through to the election without
Oh yeah.
continuing something.
Absolutely.
Getting under a little free for Trump to get the election.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walks straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yes, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on the train for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Look up in the sky, on a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a hat. It's the Print Hero. The Print Hero team is made up of expert designers and printers, each with their own unique superpowers. Help your company look great. Stand out with your unique lifestyle. The Print Hero has you covered. Let your business soar with Print Hero. Display your logo, love, lifestyle, or whatever you want the world to see on a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat. Best prices and fast turnaround time. Print Hero, a company that goes above and beyond to deliver top quality products and services to their clients. Learn more at theprinthero.com. Up and away.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Carlson Dental. Don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Carlson Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues. Please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them. And we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain.
We'll be back after this, guys.
Surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on air.
All right, welcome back. Oh, yes. And this is crazy. Okay, Fox News. Fox News just makes me sick with some of what goes on over there. Brian Kilmeade. I was reading this morning on Mediaite. Brian Kilmeade told Harris Faulkner yesterday that impeaching Biden is a waste of time. They shouldn't do it. It's a waste of time. And no president has been removed from office after an impeachment. the bar is very high in the Senate trial to remove a president. It's never happened. There's been who got impeached? We've gotten Andrew Johnson, who was Lincoln's vice president, became president when he was killed. So we had Andrew Johnson, Clinton, and now we got Trump, and now we're moving towards Biden. But do you understand? Brian Kilmeade. I don't get that guy, Brian Kilmeade. I really do not get that guy, Brian Kilmeade, or Fox, really sometimes. But think about this. An impeachment leads to the impeachment trial in the Senate. An impeachment in the House really is kind of like the House is kind of like a grand jury. They have a hearing, an impeachment is an indictment, and then you have the trial in the Senate. You understand, we're going to have, with this impeachment of Biden on all this bribery and everything, we're going to have both Joe and Hunter Biden, father and son, on trial at the same time, one in federal court in California, one in the Senate, on income charges. Different charges, but income charges. It's a pretty big deal. Huge financial crimes. Father and son on trial in two different courtrooms, one in California, one in the Senate, on financial crimes. And Brian Kilmeade thinks that's a waste of time. Our country is hanging in the balance here. And I think people need to see how corrupt they are. And, the mainstream media, as much as they won't want to cover it, they will cover that. And they'll have to cover that. And it's a big statement. Now, this tax evasion of Hunter Biden's, I think it all has to do with his dad. There was an email. There's been a couple of emails about this from the laptop. One was to his uncle, Joe's scummy brother. One was to his sister, who's as big of a junkie as he is. She's in rehab more than Hunter has been. But he wrote both of them, and it just burns him up that he has to give money to everybody in the family. And if you read the emails and the text of Hunter to his uncle and to his sister about it, he thinks that he is an international financier or something, and that he's earned all this money, and he's writing them upset that he works so hard to make this money in his career that he's got to give so much of it to his dad and everyone else in the family. And not only that, Hunter pays for a lot of Joe's things, his house, even his cell phone bill. It's part of the money laundering operation. If Hunter's paying for everything, like the house where they found the classified documents is in Hunter's name, but everybody knows it's Joe's house. These are all straw purchases, which are illegal. Straw purchases, you cannot buy a car with a straw purchase. It's illegal. Okay? And Hunter's doing this with everything of Joe's so that he doesn't have the income to report when he runs for office. And I think he did the tax avoidance because he's so fed up with having to take so much money and give it to his dad, and it gets split among other people in the family. Plus, he's got to pay dad's bills and everything. And then on top of that, he is stuck with, and then this is his mind, okay? So he gets the money. Joe gets a huge chunk of it. He's only left with a small percentage of the money, Hunter, and then he's got to pay taxes on all the money. So he was pissed off, and the reason he hasn't been paying taxes is because of that. And it's beautiful. So Brian Kilmeade could not be more wrong. This impeachment is the most important one we've had. The impeachment of Bill Clinton for suborning perjury seemed like such a big deal in 1998. It was nothing compared to what's going on right now. I remember that impeachment. We covered it. It was exciting. The Starr report came out and everything else, and what he had done was get Monica Lewinsky to lie under oath, and that's what got him, suborning perjury. But I know it's a crime, but it's a mild crime compared to what's going on here. And Joe has something not behind him that he normally would. That is the establishment of the media and the Democrats that want him out. See, I believe that everything that is happening here, this case against Hunter, everything is happening because the deep state turned on Joe. See, they backed Joe because they thought that they could control him. He's old, tired, little senile, little incoherent, and he's corrupt and greedy. So they thought through all of those things they could control him, and they haven't been able to control him. And I still stand, what he did, his withdrawal of Afghanistan, we were always going to withdraw from Afghanistan, but he did it in a way that was so botched that the deep state, who had spent 20 years building up an intelligence network in Afghanistan and the surrounding countries through Afghanistan, including the spy post on China and all that they had there, he blew it. He blew their 20 years of work and left a lot of their people behind who have been killed since. And I think that turned the deep state against him, was the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I believe what happened is that Joe Biden was going through a senile Alzheimer's fit, and he wanted to show everybody that he wears the big pants in the White House, started barking off orders to the military to get out of Afghanistan immediately, and they did it because he's the president. And the deep state lost a lot there, and they turned against him. That's why all these things, I believe, are happening. I'm a little confused, and if you've got theories on this, though, what is their plan? Their plan is not to just stand back and let Donald Trump become the president. They must have some alternative to Biden that they think is a possibility, because they're terrified, for good reason, of President Trump. And there's another CNN poll that came out yesterday, which backs up another poll, I think was from NBC at the beginning of the week, that Biden has the lowest approval ratings ever. The poll at the beginning of the week was comparing Joe's disapproval ratings to past presidents, and he has the lowest ratings of any president at this point in their presidency since they've been doing this polling, lower than President Carter. And President Carter was president at a very bad time with the Iranian hostages, and he had that botched rescue operation where all the soldiers were killed. Remember that? Oh my goodness, it was a mess. It was a mess. And for him to have a lower approval rating than Jimmy Carter is more significant than I think people can realize that weren't around during the Carter years. That's a big deal. Things were really bad. They were really bad during Jimmy Carter. We've been humiliated all over the place. We are now too, but the media, they are not covering the way that they once were. And the only thing I can think of is that the botched Afghanistan withdrawal with their intelligence operation, and I don't think they planned on him running for a second term, and he defied them to run for a second term. If you remember, even after he got the nomination, Biden, he was going to be a one-term president. Everyone was talking about this, even in the media. There were long discussions about it. And I was talking then, I said, there's no way. No one walks away from that. No one. Especially two greedy criminals like Joe and Jill. They're not going to walk away from it. And those two things together has turned them against him. And really, if you watch CNN and MSNBC, even on those left-wing Democrat apologist news outlets, they're really not defending Biden. They're not. That is so unusual. When there's a Democrat president, the mainstream corporate media will defend them no matter what they do, no matter who they hurt. And I remember one of the worst was Obama. Remember that American girl that was kidnapped and became a sex slave of the Taliban leader? Obama ordered a missile strike to take out the leader that he knew was holding her hostage, and he killed her. And on that very day, he made a comedy video in the White House with a selfie stick, and it was disgusting. And when it came out that he did that while he was ordering an airstrike that killed an American girl, the media still, they covered for him because that is what they do. Now, I want to tell you guys that if you're suffering with pain, don't. All right? It's Friday. It's the weekend. Go see Dr. Appleton. He's my chiropractor. He wants to be your chiropractor too. His laser wave pain treatment works. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. He's open on Saturdays as well. And the laser wave pain treatment works on so many different types of pain. You've heard me go over all these. Living with pain is not just a part of growing older. I thought it was, but it's not. And you know, when you're suffering with pain, I know what it's like because I've been there. You're not active. You can't move. You're tired. You're depressed. Plus, it hurts, and it's rough on your family too. go see Dr. Appleton. The laser wave pain treatment is completely painless. There are no drugs. And drugs, all they do is mask the pain, and then you're doing stuff with your body you shouldn't be doing. There are no drugs, no downtime, no surgery, no injections, and Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. You can find him online at AppletonChiro.com or give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. You'll be glad you did. And when you stop in, make sure you tell him I sent you over there, okay? 954-973-0710. Give him a call. And if you need directions, he'll text them to you. Just tell him when you call over there, they'll text you the directions to your phone. 954-973-0710 for Dr. Appleton. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's Friday. We'll be right back.
WPDF 25 News. It's a cool start. We do have temperatures in the upper 60s and some areas in the lower 70s. We'll see a couple of passing showers back in the forecast today and continuing on your Saturday with warmer highs in the upper 70s and returning to 80s on your Saturday.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
I-95 heading northbound for Hyperlux Road. A disabled vehicle is off to the right shoulder. I-95 heading southbound approaching Southern Boulevard. We have some police activity off to the right shoulder because of no delay. The major expressways are still moving up to full speed from Boca Raton to Jupiter. Further south in Broward County, construction still has 3 right lanes blocked along I-95 heading southbound at Sheridan Street. This report is sponsored by Ritz, a taste of welcome. Whether it's an ugly sweater party, office gift exchange, or holiday dinner at Nana's, Ritz Crackers is always there, bringing friends and family together to celebrate. So grab a box or 2 of Ritz Crackers for your next holiday gathering and make this season one to remember with Ritz, a taste of welcome. That's traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Sunday, December 10th, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports card and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and JSA autograph authentication. Plus, free admission and parking, prizes, and great food and drink options. Plus, catch all the exciting OTB racing and poker action and big games on our Super Sports TVs. PBKC tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Solomons and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Slow-In Shield. And that's not all. Solomons will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan.
I'm reading this story I'm going to go through when I get back. Okay? And have you seen this about the woman trying to get the late-term abortion in Texas? It's a bad one.
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RV Out. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World Second Generation owner and CEO Larry McIntyre and his co-host Larry Adams. RV Out. Saturday mornings 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies channel.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News Update.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Biden's son Hunter faces 9 new federal criminal charges, including 3 felonies, all related to his alleged failure to pay more than $1.4 million in income tax. More from ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Beyond specifying his payments to exotic dancers, porn sites, and even a sex club at a low point in his life, the indictment also paints the president's son as a sophisticated tax cheat, alleging that years after his drug use, he had his accountants categorize his past spending on debauchery as legitimate business expenses. No comment from the White House. Hunter Biden's attorney said this is a political prosecution. For the first time since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad has been hit by a rocket attack. Nobody was hurt. A senior State Department official said Secretary of State Blinken told Israel's Minister of Strategic Affairs civilian casualties are too high. And the Labor Department's November jobs report comes out this morning. This is ABC News.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day. And for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving.
There's a woman in Texas trying to get an abortion, and she's in the 20th week. That's 5 months.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Again, Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics I bring up, although I hope you find what I bring up interesting enough to comment on. I'm going to take a call or two, and then I'm reading a very these liberals, they will stop at nothing. Nothing. This is one of the most twisted liberal stories I've read in quite some time, and that's saying a lot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Hey, man. Well, first I'd like to mention quickly, I just heard that Paula Jones, I think it's Paula Jones, finally is able to sue Bill Clinton after all these years. The Supreme Court finally got around to that. So that's going to be interesting.
Is there a statute of limitations on that? Is that it's because of that Trump ruling, or what? Because that's...
Yes, not. Maybe because it's been waiting in court all these years, maybe it extended the statute of limitations. I don't know, but I just heard that. Maybe it was incorrect, but that's what I heard, and I'm wondering if that's true or not. But it'll be interesting if that's true to see Bill Clinton finally facing have to pay for what he did.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And if you remember, he bloodied her lip, and then he said, hey, and then he said to Paula Jones, you might want to put some ice on that. Can you imagine?
What a wonderful guy, huh? Anyway, the other thing I heard is that Tesla now is going to be switching to hydrogen. They're going to get rid of the batteries because I guess everybody's complaining that they're getting headaches and there's too much
really
radiation.
I haven't heard that. They're going to give up electric vehicles?
He's transitioning to hydrogen. He said by 2030, about 50%.
Hydrogen. Well, now, I don't know too much about this stuff. I just go to the gas station and fill up my tank. But isn't hydrogen what was in the Hindenburg?
That's right.
Yeah, so it didn't turn out too well for the Hindenburg. How? I don't know. That doesn't sound good to me. I don't think I want a hydrogen-powered car.
Yeah, well, no, hydrogen is very volatile, but so is gasoline. So if you can have a car with gasoline, you can put hydrogen in it just as well. They have hydrogen cars already, but it's hard to get hydrogen. That's the problem.
Well, you know, the thing about the problem they're having with the electric cars is that the people that are buying them are giving bad word-of-mouth advertising to the electric cars. People are having bad experience. Now, some people, I know people that have Teslas, and, you know, somebody spends a lot of money on something, they're not likely to say they regret it. So so when you hear someone tell you that they don't like their electric vehicle, these are expensive. You know, that means it's really bad. It's really bad, you know, if they're complaining.
That they're getting headaches because they're being radiated from the damn, all the batteries they're sitting on top of. You know, it's like,
well, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, you probably heard this too, they used to tell us that the microwaves in our kitchens were going to cause problems. And I remember my grandmother was so paranoid of this that the microwave was a breadbasket. She wouldn't cook with it because she was afraid of it. Remember what they used to call microwaves before Remember what they used to call them?
No, I forgot.
The radar range.
Radar.
That's right, the radar range. That's right.
It's funny you say that because my grandmother refused to use the microwave.
Yeah, my grandmother did too, and she thought it was going to radiate the whole house.
Yeah, but she finally got used to it and started using it. But it's the other thing is the last thing I mentioned is I checked this. President Trump and this whole case with him showing that his house is worth so much more money than this judge is saying. The appraiser is going to have to reappraise his house, and it's not under homestead. So President Trump is going to wind up paying a lot more money taxes on his house because of. You
mean he doesn't get a homestead exemption on his house?
Homestead because it's owned by a corporate. Because
oh, I did not know that. Yeah.
No matter what, poor president.
I wouldn't trust the appraiser. I can't remember what it's called. What's that website that has all the real estate on it that shows the prices? There's a big famous one. I forgot what it's called. And I did a YouTube live stream a couple months ago and using that website. And I showed, if you guys watch me on YouTube, you see this. I showed Mar-a-Lago and all the houses around it, and it gave you the value of all the houses around Mar-a-Lago because there's a lot of houses for sale. And empty lots were going for more than $18 million. But that website, I went to do an update on it a couple weeks ago. They've taken down Mar-a-Lago in that neighborhood from the site. At least it was down then, because I guess a lot of people were doing what I was doing.
Certainly people, if Trump is paying less taxes, they're going to not like.
Yeah. All right, Doug. Appreciate the call. Okay, now I was reading this story during the break, and Zillow, that's correct. Zillow is the site. Yeah, I went on Zillow. I did a whole YouTube video on this, and I went and I showed Mar-a-Lago, and then I showed all the houses that are near it that you can't see on the street because it's Palm Beach, and it gave you the value of all of them. And there was an empty lot where there was no home that was valued at over $50 million, and it was tiny compared to the estate of Mar-a-Lago. And then I went to do an update 2 or 3 weeks ago on Zillow, and you couldn't pull up Mar-a-Lago or that neighborhood. And I know Trump didn't have it pulled down. Some liberals, liberals, they run all the tech stuff. I was reading this story during the break that is really twisted. There's a mother in Texas, she's a mother, I'll tell you that, who is trying to get an abortion in the 20th week, which is 5 months, of course. You do a little quick math there. And let me read this story. This is really twisted. I don't buy her story at all. A Texas mother of 2 has become the first in the country to win court backing for an abortion after the court heard that her 20-week fetus, we call that a baby, is fatally impaired and could jeopardize her chances of having another child. The woman told the state court in Austin, Texas, she had received emergency medical treatment 4 times since becoming pregnant with a baby that doctors expect to be stillborn. Expect, but that's not definite. A liberal judge, Democrat, granted her a temporary restraining order Thursday, citing the threat to her fertility. So, see, this is how these creepy doctors and Democrat judges operate. Her fertility is at risk. So they're saying that's the health of the mother is at risk because her fertility is at risk. It's the first case of its kind since Roe v. Wade was overturned, by the way. Then they go on. The law might actually cause her to lose that ability. It goes on and on. Okay, Ken Paxton, who's the Attorney General, who's been through a lot, yesterday threatened to prosecute any doctors involved in providing an emergency abortion to the woman, objecting to the finding, and said the activist judge's order does not insulate hospitals, doctors, or anyone else from civil and criminal liability for violating Texas abortion laws. In a letter to 3 Houston hospitals, Ken Paxton even warned that charges were possible if her doctor gives her the abortion. The letter was sent to 3 hospitals where her doctor could possibly provide the abortion. A law professor at the University of Houston, Seth Chandler, said he would have concerns as a physician based on both legal issues and Paxton's apparent zeal to enforce the state's abortion ban. It goes on and on. Okay. The left are going to constantly have test cases like this. You know, Roe v. Wade, if you remember, Roe v. Wade also was in Texas. And in Texas at the time of Roe v. Wade, they had abortion was illegal like it is now, except with the health, just like today, except in the health of the mother. And they also had rape and incest. I don't know if rape and incest is part of Texas law or not. And Norma McCorvey, the woman in the case, she said she was raped and wanted the abortion, and it was denied. She never had the abortion, and she admitted that she was not raped. She lied. Okay? And these abortion activists think that they are civil rights activists. They don't understand they're Mingala activists. And I don't trust the so-called medical opinion of her doctor. I don't trust her opinion. I don't trust this Democrat judge. They're trying to get a test case for that. By the way, if this was truly the case, would she just not go somewhere else like California and have the abortion? The fact that she doesn't travel to a liberal state where she could have it, to me, is suspicious. And she went to court before she wasn't told she couldn't have the abortion. She immediately went to court before anyone told her she couldn't have it. So if she is able to get legal counsel on such a thing, she's certainly able to get on a plane and fly to California if it's that important and that medically necessary, the abortion. I don't believe any of this story. Okay? By the way, there have only been a couple dozen of abortions since the overturning of Roe v. Wade in a period where 16,000 occurred in that same period prior. I mean, think about all those lives that are with us because of President Trump. Now, I don't buy this woman's story at all. And for years to come, we're going to see these so-called test cases over and over again. Don't believe them, okay? All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back right after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get on the action.
Be right back, guys.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered with massive pain in my knee for years, but not anymore. It's all gone thanks to Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain system. I'm in studio right now with Dr. Appleton. Dr. Appleton, how'd you do it?
By treating your knee pain with laser, treatment is simple and no side effects. I have robotic lasers that have a wonderful effect on joint pain. These are all FDA approved.
Now, you don't just help with knees. Tell the listeners what other areas you can help with.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica, stenosis, arthritis, tendonitis, bursitis, from the foot all the way up to the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio.
Oh yeah, this sweatshirt is from the official Trump store. And it's so this is like from the President Trump's official store from like Mar-a-Lago. And I've got 2 of these. One's gray and this one. The material is the finest material I've ever had in a sweatshirt in my life. When you say Alex is no Glenn Beck, what do you mean by that? Oh, I talked about it for the first half hour. I think Glenn Beck is just a carnival barker. I don't think Glenn Beck is real at all. What do you guys think? He's an actor.
Alexa, what's the longest running radio show in the state of Florida?
The Steve Kane Show, which has been on the air since 1977, is the longest running radio show in Florida.
The Steve Kane Show, weekday mornings, right here on True Oldies.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Glenn Beck real or fake? Real or fake? Well, anyone that's doing a show about news and stuff, you've got to be an entertainer to keep people interested. Oh, Hannity's a government, yeah. Real. Yeah, let's just do Glenn Beck. Real or fake? Real or fake, Glenn Beck? I haven't listened to Glenn Beck in years. Every once in a while I'll catch a bit of him here or there. Really?
3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies.
All right. And remember to do your Christmas shopping at MyPillow.com on all products, no matter what you order at MyPillow.com, until December 15th. Free shipping with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right. I just bought a mattress and a bed yesterday for my daughter. So whatever you buy at MyPillow.com, free shipping when you use our promo code KANE at checkout. No matter how big or small, K-A-N-E, free shipping. Plus, on top of that, not just free shipping, plus you get the deal on whatever the special is on what you're buying. So this is the biggest special, biggest discount ever offered to our listeners from Mike Lindell at MyPillow.com. Free shipping on top of whatever special you're taking advantage of at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It's a pretty good deal, huh? You'll never get a savings this big ever again at MyPillow.com because you got free shipping on everything. You know, like the right now the MyPillow 2.0 is like 50% off. You get that plus free shipping with our promo code KANE until December 15th. It's special for Christmas. After the 15th, the free shipping will be gone. All right? KANE at checkout at MyPillow.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
All right, Barbara. What's up?
Great show. And I agree with you 100% about these test cases about abortions. I don't believe that story either. I think that's a lie, and I think they're going to keep popping up. And thank God Ken Paxton is still there to fight for these babies to live. The other reason that I called, the Bidens, they're so depraved and have been getting away with so much. They can't believe that Hunter is going to actually go to jail. But I believe that there's a possibility that it might happen. I'm praying that it does. But the other reason that I called today is about this Person of the Year award given to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I like
wait a minute. Are you talking about the Time Person of the Year?
Time Person of the Year.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to say this. She's a talented lady and she's cute. Riley Gaines is fighting for women's rights and for women not to be exploited by transgenderism craziness, which is very, very important as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hold on. This thing about Taylor Swift, okay? First off, I disagree. I think she's mildly talented, and I don't think she's good looking. I'm sorry. But Time Magazine, people that make... I remember it used to be a big deal, the Man of the Year and all that stuff. It used to be a big deal, I don't even know if they're in print anymore, other than maybe their Person of the Year issue. Is Time Magazine still in print? You know...
Sure.
Well, the reason that they picked Taylor Swift is pretty simple, because she's very popular right now to get attention. It was a publicity stunt. It's not really that she's a person of significance. You know what I mean?
I understand. I just wanted to say this because it got up my craw. Riley Gaines is doing something that's very significant as far as a woman standing up for women, and she's doing it not single-handedly. She's got more people becoming brave enough to stand with her. But I like what she did. Leah Thompson called her a homophobe, and she turned it right around and told Leah Thomas she was.
Well, you know, Leah Thomas, I haven't seen Leah Thomas in the news lately, but what I'm curious about with Leah Thomas is Leah Thomas still living as a woman? You know what I mean? Because I believe Leah Thomas is just a cheater.
Absolutely. A mediocre, and in fact, a third-rate athlete who could not beat men and could not compete. And that's what's happening with most of these men anyway.
Yeah.
I think all of them. They're horrible athletes. They can't compete with other men. And those cyclists who first and second place winners in a women's cycling, that should be free.
Well, and you know, another thing about it is, and I know this isn't nice to say, but this whole idea that men and women are equal is really blown out of the water with these transgender athletes, isn't it? Because women and men are superior physically.
Yes, they are. And it's not a fair competition. I was listening to an interview with a female wrestler who was wrestling a man no one knew. No one knew. She didn't know he was a man. And she said she knew from the very first tackle with him, well, I don't know what else to call it, clutch, whatever they do. She knew that something was different.
Yeah.
She didn't know it was a man, but she could tell immediately something was different.
I mean, even the Venus sisters lost to a mediocre man.
That's right. They did, and they're great.
They're considered the greatest in the world and of all time, right? The greatest tennis players of all time in the history of the game, and they lost to a mediocre man. Riley Gaines, her husband's a swimmer. He's like 100 and something, and he beats her.
Sure, I saw that. You know, what has happened here, the left has gone bat crazy. And it's about time that we stop it and just put an end to this crap because it's really hurting women in sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take them not even competing. They're going to have to just not compete and let the transgenders do it on their own, give up these big scholarships that they could get, opportunities of a lifetime, the possibility of going to the Olympics. You're losing to other men. I think it's ridiculous.
It sure is. All right.
I was really upset about it. So
I wouldn't write. I know people are making a big deal about this Taylor Swift Time Person of the Year. Time. When is the last time you read an article in Time magazine?
And you know what?
Years.
It wasn't an award, but it's just the fact that they're making such a big deal of it. That just
oh, please.
Going on it, But anyway.
Please. All right, you take care. I appreciate it. You know, these things. You know, it's now. I was reading this story. Listen to this. Speaking of the transgendered sports, listen to this. Nicholas Sapita is a 15-year-old Canadian man. Have you heard this story? Listen to this. Nicholas Sapita, he's a 50-year-old Canadian man. He transitioned into Melody Weishart. Now, the 50-year-old man, okay? He transitioned into Melody Weishart and was allowed to enter a swim competition with teenage girls and even was allowed to shower in the locker room with the teenage girls. That's right. He transitioned into a girl and said he was a teenage girl. Yeah, and this is, by the way, reported extensively in Rebel News, which is a Canadian conservative outlet. He was swimming with 13-year-olds and showered with them, and they let him do it. So how far... it's crazy. I know, it's insane. It's hard to believe these things are even... How far are these things going to go before they're stopped? It's hard to say because look at what's running the university system where most of this is happening. And at the lower levels, they're worried about their kids getting scholarships into college, so they're catering to it. I don't know. But this story here, pretty much a media blackout on it because it's so insane and sick and twisted that they don't want people to know about it. But it did, and there's video and photographs, And there's no getting around that this is a 15-year-old or a 50-year-old man who said that he's now identifying as a teenage girl. And they even have video of him in the swim meet with these 13, 14-year-old girls. It's insane to me. Now, I don't know if they got to see him naked or not. My goodness. Just a couple years ago, a guy like that would go to prison for doing such a thing. It's called indecent exposure. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Let me see if I can... Oh, which mic is, okay.
Not the next one, but the one after.
Okay, that one, okay.
Also, I don't like Taylor Swift because she's like a big climate change person.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like, you know, stop using jets, this and that. But she is one of the most, like, one of the highest people to use her jet nonstop. Well,
Oh, yeah.
so it's like she's a hypocrite.
Exactly. No, it's just gets to get people to watch. I don't even know if it's a real magazine that you buy. They just, I don't know.
Probably not. Just the name and the look. And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. So it just takes one person to screenshot out the internet, and then it's free for everyone else.
Exactly. Why even bother?
Oh, so you got a seal next.
Okay. Remember, tell me what line. So, yeah.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Sunday, December 10th, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports card and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and JSA autograph authentication. Plus, free admission and parking, prizes, and great food and drink options. Plus, catch all the exciting OTB racing and poker action and big games on our Super Sports TVs. PBKC tickets and dining certificates make great holiday gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
So tired of the hassle of holiday airport travel during the
46.
All right, welcome back. One and all, 36 minutes after the hour. It is Friday, and I want to remind you guys, Steve and I are going to be at Wings Plus a week from this Sunday. A week from Sunday, not this Sunday, a week from Sunday. Don't want any confusion. That is the 17th we'll be at Wings Plus. Steve's going to be there, he says, at 1 for kickoff. I'll be there around 2. And you're all invited to Wings Plus in Coral Springs. I'll tell you more about that later. But it is next Sunday, not this Sunday, December 17th. I want to be clear on that, okay? Although you can go this Sunday and have a great meal. Steve and I just will not be there till next Sunday, December 17th. All right, so I want to get back to this. And this clip here from CNN is Van Jones talking about Vivek, but it connects to something that Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones were talking about in that interview. This is Van Jones talking about the Republican debate the other night, in particular Vivek Ramaswamy, and he's, of course, always in a panic, Van Jones.
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews his poison out is very, very dangerous because he won't stop Trump, but he's going to outlive Trump by about 50 years. And you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is a very, very despicable person. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
Okay. Yeah, that's Van Jones talking about Vivek. And what he's talking about with Vivek Ramaswamy is when Ramaswamy said the great replacement theory is fact, okay? And that's what he's talking about. And in this interview that Tucker did with Alex Jones, which you should all watch after 9 o'clock. Do not watch it now. Watch it after 9 o'clock. It's a long interview. It's about 90 minutes long. And it is spectacular. It just blew my mind. And one of the things that Alex Jones was talking about to Tucker, and I didn't realize how smart Alex Jones is. I really didn't. I thought, and I know some of you will be mad at me this, I thought he was just kind of like a carnival barker. I thought he was just a louder Glenn Beck. I did not realize how smart he is. I mean, Alex Jones is very brilliant, and his analysis is spot on and very sophisticated analysis of very complex things. But he was talking about the replacement theory and this race war that the Democrats are starting, and he made a very good point that I had not thought about in this way before. Which I'll tell you in a minute, but what's going on in this country, open racism against white people is become acceptable. Not becoming, is acceptable. I saw this video online yesterday, 20 questions for white people. You ever seen this? I mean, it's blacks asking white people 20 questions. It's very bizarre, some of these things. And open racism towards whites is just acceptable now. And the thing... and I saw this really happen at the Academy Awards. It was 2 years in a row at the Oscars. There was the year where they had the 3 female hosts. They had Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and I forget who the other one was. They were all comedians. One was white, of course, Amy Schumer. The other 2 were not. They were black. And the whole thing was that Amy Schumer was stupid and couldn't understand because she's white. And they had this running gag with, I don't call it a gag, I call it hardcore racist bigotry, on the Oscars. And the way it was so bizarre. They had Amy Schumer doing these body motions and facial expressions that are out of the Hollywood movies of the 1930s when they would make black people look like this. You understand what I mean? And it was so bizarre. And then there was another one where Jimmy Fallon had to apologize to black people, if you remember. It was just so bizarre. And now it's made its way through critical race theory in every aspect of our society, where it's not that white people are being demonized. Open hostility, racism, and discrimination against whites is acceptable. Look at TV and movies. Every show and movie stars a woman, most often a black woman. There's this new Marvel movie out with the Lady Captain America, and it's failed at the box office. They got 3 or 4 superheroes. They're all women. Nobody buys that. It's so ridiculous what's going on, right? Like this business that happened with Snow White recently was another controversy out of Hollywood. But this is happening in our everyday society. And now we're seeing it with Jews, with anti-Semitism. And so what we have are non-white people having openly organized, and it's politically acceptable by college leadership and the Democrat Party leadership and the media, that open hostility towards Jews and whites. Not that Jews aren't white, but you understand what I'm saying, guys, about this. Okay, I don't want somebody, you're saying Jews aren't white. No, I'm not saying that, but there's anti-Semitism and then there's the anti-whiteness. Is not only acceptable, it's expected, and that's the way it is. And what Alex Jones was talking about what's going on with the replacement theory and critical race theory to Tucker Carlson, and this is what Alex Jones said. He says, he says the Democrats have always divided on race. They founded the KKK, which is true, and the KKK was used as the Democrats as an activist organization. It was for 100 years, and he said then whites were the majority in the South, and the Democrats were using the Klan to put whites against others in the South to get their votes. Now, since the big urban centers are all black for the most part, they're majority black, majority minority cities, they're doing the same thing they were doing with the Klan, except now they're doing it with black organizations, Black Lives Matter, critical race theory, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same old, Rush used to talk about the Democrats have that same old playbook, the same old plays. They just switch a few players around on the field, and that's what's going on. And we are in a very ugly time in this country right now, a very ugly time. And what's going on in this country racially is some of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen. I thought we were so far beyond this. I can remember a time when I grew up after segregation, but I remember a time here in Florida where I saw racism against blacks in Florida. When I first moved to Florida from the north, I saw things I didn't like. What really blew me away when I had my first regular paying job, other than mowing lawns, I was a bagger and a stock guy at Publix when I was in 9th, 10th grade. And if a black family came into the store shopping, the managers would follow them around. Because, of course, they were expected to steal, I guess, is what the thought was, right? And that was in the 80s, mid-80s. And things aren't that way anymore. And we'd gotten beyond that. And now with critical race theory and other things, they've taken us into a very dark place, the Democrats. But that's what they do. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, how you doing?
All right, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Ronnie Big W from West Palm Beach.
Hey, what's up?
And, a lot is up, but hey, good things behind it too. I've been following Alex Jones for years. And, a lot of the stuff, people looked at him as a crackpot, conspiracy theorist. But like you said, a lot of the stuff he has spoken of has come to truth, People in this world only, I'll say about 70 to 85% of them only exist with, their 5 senses, which is, taste, touch, see, hear, and smell. And, they try to keep us in the dark with a lot of stuff. He speaks passionately about that.
Well, okay, now here, did you see the interview with Tucker?
I haven't seen it yet because I've been pretty wrapped up in the studio, but I am planning to see it.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, Tucker put together a montage of things that predictions Alex Jones made that were pretty far out that came true. Now, that's not saying all his predictions came true, but the predictions he made were so wild. Like the summer before 9/11, he predicted Osama bin Laden would crash planes in the World Trade Center. I mean, he was obviously he's probably wrong more than he's right when you're making crazy predictions like that. But he was correct on some far out stuff that no one could imagine.
That's right. He was. That's right. You are 100% right. And getting back to the Bidens, it's time for justice to strike them as well. And I do believe, thirdly, I do believe somewhere along the lines Joe Manchin is going to probably put his bid in. Should Biden they dismiss him? Or who knows, maybe Kevin McCarthy might pull off his Republican suit and go ahead and wear the Democrat suit and run for them.
You never know. All right, listen, I got to run, but thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Barry. How'd the workshop go?
Oh, it went great. It was very well attended. It was a very lively group. It went very well, thank you.
Awesome. Well, what do you have for us today?
Well, one of the things, we're coming up on the end of the year and the new year, and one of the issues that comes up every year, not just for estate planning, but for a lot of things. People do their New Year's resolutions because there are things that people, certain things that people will procrastinate on doing. And one of them, of course, is estate planning. It's one of those things that some people put off, maybe because of the topic matter. They don't want to deal with issues, making tough decisions, issues with end of life and disability. And some people, I've heard rumors, some people don't like lawyers. And there's all kinds of things like that.
Go figure.
Yeah. But one of the things that happens is, people get busy during the holidays and they put it off, and then some will put it on their list and they will do it, and some will put it on their list and they won't do it. So what I'd urge anyone to do today, if this is a serious issue for you and a concern, number one, we do get very busy in the new year because of the people making the New Year's resolutions. And so I would do one of two things. If this is something you want to do, either number one, call our office and schedule an appointment. If you want to do it after the new year, at least get your appointment on the books for the new year. Or even better yet, because you probably have a better chance in the last couple weeks of the year of getting in if you wanted to get in sooner. So I would urge you to call and schedule your appointment now if this is something that's...
Absolutely, and you're dealing with death. People neglect making funeral arrangements. I know dealing with death isn't pleasant, but it's something that's got to be done, and you'll be better off. And I have talked to so many listeners that are clients of yours, Attorney Barry Siegel, and every single listener has the same reaction. They're very excited about you and your firm, but they have this feeling of relief, like a weight has been taken off of their shoulders. For both the trust and the Medicaid planning, they tell me a variation of the same thing. A weight has been lifted off my shoulders. It's something that people worry about. They may not talk about it and may avoid dealing with it, but it's something in the back of a lot of people's minds. Don't you agree?
When people come to us, they get that relief, they get that peace of mind, and it's very nice to hear that.
Yeah, peace of mind. That's another one. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Well, listen, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. You can call, you can make an appointment, and it's a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the Steve Kane Show. Online at SiegelLawGroup.com or give them a call, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
All right, you too.
Mm-hmm. All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right, and back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike from West Palm Beach.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had a personal experience with black people with regard to discrimination against white people, me being white. It was a very simple thing that happened. I was at the VA. I went across the street to get a cup of coffee at 7-Eleven, and there was this big guy. I mean, he was a 300-pounder, probably bodybuilder. And I had to write $2 underneath across the cash register there with the lady, and he came in, took my $2. I was working with a cane at the time, pushed me away, almost went down my coffee because I spilled my coffee, put his two $10 bills there and said $20 on 12-4. When I went outside with my new cup of coffee, he said to me, I can't say it because all curse words, but I will slap your M&F ass silly, and so I just walked around and got in my car and left.
Now,
wow,
it's just bad. Now, let me just tell you one other thing. A friend of mine and I were at Publix nearby here. He went in there, and when he came for a couple of moments, he was in there. He came out. I saw 3 people walk out with him, white. I took a count on black people coming out. 32 black people. So they.
I'm losing the context of the conversation. Okay, let's start with the Publix. I don't know what's the racial component of it. There were black people shopping. I'm a little confused on what point you're trying to make.
9 to 1, which didn't exist 10 years ago.
Well, maybe it's just the neighborhood. The demographic has changed in the neighborhood.
Exactly, and you know what? We got a drug house here in my neighborhood, and the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
The unincorporated.
A drug house. Oh my goodness.
And let me just finish. The sheriff's department is in jurisdiction here, not the West Palm Beach police, and they're getting away with it. In other words, the drugs trade goes on all through the late evening into like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it sounds like you need to move to a new neighborhood if there's a drug house in your neighborhood.
I'm moving to Tennessee. Can't wait to get out of here.
You're moving to Tennessee?
Yes, sir. Green grass is.
You know how cold it gets in Tennessee?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be ice there. So I'll come back here during the winter and then I get a little hotel somewhere down on the island.
Well, what you're talking about, okay, with what you're talking about is not racial. You're talking about an economic change in a community, in a neighborhood, and in a neighborhood, most neighborhoods turn over 100% every 16 or so years. Like all the residences are changed, you know, every 16 years, and as homes get older, they become oftentimes less valuable, and lower economic people move in. That's not racial.
Yeah, but the price of homes here have gone up. There's a 1-bedroom apartment, and across the way from me, there's a whole bunch of apartments.
Mm-hmm.
They're going for $2,100 per month rent.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen. I appreciate the call. Take care. I'm not exactly sure what points he was making, but it is open phones on Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Open MAGA Mike Friday. Okay. Even if I don't understand the points being made. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, this is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
I listened to that Tucker Carlson interview.
With Alex Jones?
Yeah, with Alex Jones. What's amazing to me is Gigi Payne. He loved Nazis, and he figured, well, the biggest thing. That's why you see in China only Chinese people. You don't see what we have in this country. He wants to take over the world, so in order for him to take over the world, he's got to divide the United States. How do you divide the United States when it has different religions and different races? You turn the people against each other, and you get your money, you get your Chinese money into the corporations. So when you get your money into the corporations, hey, if you do something wrong, we're not going to have.
Well, what's happened? Well, the two things that there's a bunch of things China has done. Okay, first off, they bought off the Democrat politicians, some of the Republicans, but all the leading Democrats are bought off. They bought off Hollywood. You know, yesterday I was talking about the original movie Red Dawn. You know, they did a remake about 10 years ago of Red Dawn, and it was about China invading the United States instead of the Soviet Union, and what they did is they took that movie was released several years after it was made. They went back in with CGI and turned everybody that was Chinese into North Koreans because they wanted to be able to release it in China. So they took over Hollywood. They've taken over the politicians. And the biggest tool that they have, China, is TikTok. TikTok, this whole gender thing has been pushed by China through TikTok. And now what do we have? We don't have a strong military age recruitment population.
No, this is all China's plot to take over the world.
And it's brilliant. It's a brilliant plot.
Divided. We are so divided in this country. It is the most amazing thing. You get called, you like this last caller that called up right off the bat. He's against blacks.
I know. That was hardcore racism. I know.
But what I'm trying to say is they've succeeded because they've got us thinking like this way. They don't want us to be together as a country. They hate that. So what do? They take their money and the media is afraid to say anything, or they're actually actually pushing the crap because they're supported by the Chinese money.
Correct.
You know, and they're owned by the Chinese money. Our media in this country is owned by China.
But the only thing we can hope for is that China has a financial collapse. You know, they're so overextended financially, China. They could have a collapse financially, but short of that, we're done. We are a client state of China.
Yeah, exactly. They own us, and the Democratic Party will try to help them not collapse.
Well, the only thing that can slow it down is Trump coming back and more people waking up, you know, to what's going on. But the China, the Cold War with the Soviet Union was all BS. That was complete BS and complete propaganda. But what China has done, they've already done it. They've already pretty much won it. It is real. It is not propaganda. And Chinese people are the smartest people in the world, and they have taken over this country in a way that most of the population are not even aware of what we're talking about.
No, you know where you really see it, believe it or not, in these marches for Palestine.
Really?
You know what you see? Yeah, you see gay people. You see lesbians, gay people, all sorts of. These are the same people that if these Hamas won this thing and took over the world, they would be thrown off of buildings. They're the first one to be in line. They don't even have any idea.
They're too stupid and brainwashed to understand what they're advocating for.
Doing. The whole country is dumbed down. I mean, you don't think most Chinese people are smarter? Look at the universities. They've taken over them, by the way, too. That's another thing, and we've let them.
You know, it's when when they cleaned up San Francisco. The reason they cleaned up San Francisco when the Chinese president came is because he's their sugar daddy. He's their leader, the Democrats. They didn't want to disrespect their leader. It was a sign of respect that they cleaned up San Francisco for him. It's very twisted.
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is President Trump, okay? This Muslim ban that the media, who's owned by China, puts out there, President Trump never had a Muslim ban. He had a ban on countries that were hostile to the United States because other Muslims were let in here at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to cut the crap because people have to get educated and see what the hell's going on in this country.
Absolutely. All right, Richie. We're already there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? I got something to ask you real quick, and I know you know the answer. I was cruising around, YouTube, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Seen this thing where it said where Donald Trump was out eating at a restaurant, and he got beat up by a couple of thugs.
Really? What do you think? That Donald Trump got beaten up by people at a restaurant? Donald Trump, President Trump?
Yeah, Donald Trump.
If that happened, he wouldn't have to call and ask me if it happened. And how would that happen? He's got Secret Service and everything.
That's what I said. That's what I thought. I said myself. He got Secret Service all over.
Well, if you've got to ask me if that's true, you're a pretty gullible guy. Come on, that would be everywhere. All right, hey, appreciate the call, Augustino. Oh boy, that was better than when he called about the frozen peas. Remember that call from Augustino? Oh my God, we almost stopped open phones on Friday over Augustino. It's true, we did. Remember that frozen peas thing? Oh my, pea soup, frozen peas. Oh. But when you say it's open phones, man. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach. W. Meyer.
You know, I asked earlier, and I didn't. I was distracted, and I missed the chat. I was asking people, where's the best place to go for me to listen to Alex Jones? Because I want to see if he's as reasonable as he sounded on Tucker. Where's the best place to go to listen to Alex Jones? Yeah, the calls have been not too great today. Low-level calls. That one guy was so racist. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, when you're doing open phones, the quality of the calls sometimes is less than you would like. That's why we don't do open phones every day. One of the reasons. Oh, he's on Spotify? I'm in shock. Oh, I don't use BitChute. I'll try Rumble and Spotify. I've got an Alexa in every room of the house. We even have Alexas in the bathroom, our back porch, the kitchen. Every room of the house has an Alexa in it. They're so cheap, it's so ridiculous. Oh yeah, I know. About Loomer. She should have me on her show in studio. Maybe I'll talk to her about doing that.
Since 1977, it's the Steve Kane.
All right, we are back 6 minutes after 8. It is Friday, December 8th. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. You know, when you have open phones, there's a few reasons why we don't do it every day. One, if you do open phones every day, you're not doing a show. You gotta have control of the content. We do open phones one day a week, which is Friday, and some of the greatest shows are open phones on Friday, Open Mag and Mike Friday. And then there's days like today when the quality of the callers and the content that they provide, it shows you why it's a good idea not to do open phones every day. I mean, look what we got in the last hour. That call from Augustino, and then we got the racist. Did you hear the breaking news? He says there were black people at Publix. Oh, he was like shocked about it. Oh my goodness. That's what happens. I tell you. I don't know if this open phones is a good idea sometimes. I really question it. And when you're taking the call screenless, you don't know what's going to happen. But we'll continue today. Anything and everything on your mind. I mean, hopefully the quality of the calls that we get from this point forward in the program rise above what we've had for the most part this morning. Although that would not be very difficult. I mean, some of these are real bottom of the barrel calls, Mike. I mean, my goodness, could you imagine? Oh my goodness, I hope Trump's not listening today to these calls. All right, 1-888-COCAINE 1-888-465-2631. I had two clips from the Alex Jones interview with Tucker. I played one already. I'm going to play it again, and then there's a second one. Tucker Carlson. I couldn't believe this. Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones drunk dialed Brian Stelter from CNN. And they talked about it on the program. Then play the first one first. This is Alex Jones. If you're on hold, stand by. This is Alex Jones talking about Biden.
He is completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years, it's getting worse, naked in the White House. In the middle of the night, doesn't know who he is. They have to give him a bunch of drugs. A bunch of amphetamines in the morning, and they've got to drug him at night. Sometimes he'll like be out for the morning for a while, and then comes back out at night for a ball. That's when there's a real problem.
He is on drugs. I have established that. I know someone who witnessed it. I'm not guessing at this. I know someone personally who witnessed him taking amphetamines. And this was during the 2020 election.
Wow. So we have two independent sources there that are very credible. Tucker and Alex Jones have individual sources that Biden takes amphetamines, pretty hardcore. And Alex Jones says that he's been walking around the White House naked at night, not knowing where he is. And I believe that's very credible. And I don't think it's funny. It's frightening. All right, let's go back to our open phones. Let's keep one finger on the dump button. And hopefully the quality is better in this hour. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy.
Hello, this is Dave.
Yeah, Dave. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, buddy, you're doing a great job. I was always a big fan of Rush Limbaugh for many, many years. You're carrying on a great tradition.
Thank you.
I was introduced to Alex Jones at InfoWars a few years ago and began listening. And I have enough experience and intelligence, like Rush Limbaugh always said, to realize that many things that Alex Jones does say, although he's bombastic and controversial, but it really is from the heart, and it's based on him really deferring to experts and listening to other really talented guests. He's really assembled a lot of great people around him. And I'd recommend other people really check out not only Infowars.com, the site, but there's a lot of commercials in that. But if you go to Facebook, literally there's Gibson Checo.
Well, the thing about, I don't know who any of these people are, so I don't want to promote people I'm not familiar with. They could be like that guy that's upset that there's black people at Publix. But, the thing about this interview with Tucker Carlson with Alex Jones is that was the first time that I have ever seen the real Alex Jones, right? Not some guy who's screaming and sweating and looks like he's hopped up on cocaine or something, or because you know how he gets sometimes. I'm not saying he's on cocaine, but he gets crazy and yells and storms into rooms and screams and stuff. And it's also the first time I've seen him in a real conversation with someone. about these important topics. I've never seen Alex Jones like that at all, ever. And I was more than impressed. I was blown away by it. And I don't hand out compliments that often.
Yeah, I would just say very quickly, I think he's learned that there are better messengers, and I think he's done the Warriors' work. And now that Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson and many others are really starting to kind of find out that.
Now, I think what happened is that when he was starting out, he was outrageous to get attention. He was doing like the shock jock thing, and talking about news and issues in the shock jock kind of way to get attention, you know. And people do stuff like that. And now he's famous and doesn't have to act that way to get the attention. But what really impressed me is he went through, because you know they did this montage in the beginning. Tucker showed this montage of really crazy predictions that all came true that Alex Jones had made. And then Tucker went with him through his process on how he comes to conclusions and makes these very accurate predictions that are crazy. And I was shocked at the type of sources and research that he does. I was just impressed. He's kind of like his own little intelligence analyst agency is what he's like.
Yeah, I would also recommend.
No more recommending, because I don't know these people, and you could be sending people to Nazis for all I know. All right, I think the call. See what I mean about open phones? It was, he was about promoting. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Impresses me about Alex Jones? Absolutely nothing. How did the guy get famous? Oh yeah, that's right, by conspiracy theories about school shooting.
No. Hold on. Okay, he was famous before that. Okay. What? Sandy Hook aside, what false conspiracy? Okay, Sandy Hook aside, what? Can I finish a sentence? Besides. No. Excuse me. Other than the Sandy Hook stuff, what conspiracy theory did he promote that was so outrageous that he should be canceled off of everything?
Guess what? In my opinion, that doesn't really even matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Has he broken the law? Excuse me. Has he broken the law or hurt people or killed people?
Schmucks. Hey, unfortunately, schmucks like you are protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution. Want by free speech.
The first. Oh, he's getting nervous now. No. I'm going to hang up on you first. All right. It's time for a break anyway. The first. See how angry he is at the First Amendment? Oh my goodness. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription.
Oh my goodness.
They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD.
You never know what you're going to get with open phones.
These are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs.
The First Amendment is our most important freedom. Everything else is under the First Amendment. Yeah, there's no First Amendment in North Korea.
Sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
'Tis the season for savings with Margaritaville at Sea. Now for a limited time.
Unfortunately, the First Amendment protects free speech. Oh my goodness.
All cruises, cruise certificates, and their ultimate paradise pass for limitless trips to Grand Bahama in 2024. Get away to your holiday haven with Bahamas
Cruises for just $79 per person, or give the ultimate gift of the season, Bahamas cruise certificates for 2, and earn your way onto the nice list. Claim your perfect slice of paradise today at margaritavillesc.com.
Brian Craig here with
We have failed to raise the quality of the calls. The quality of the calls on today's show has been very low caliber.
help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have new prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital,
Low quality callers, no doubt.
they'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve.
It's a 2-seat advantage.
What they do. I will
2.
takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues.
Without McCarthy, it's 2. We have 3 now.
Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275.
Part of it has to do with the holiday period. You know, the wacky people get weird around the holidays. Oh, we're coming back. Okay.
Back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All right. Well, we have failed to raise the quality of the calls so far in this hour. I don't know how that's going to... Oh, boy. I don't know. The quality of the calls... I'm almost embarrassed, of the quality of the calls today. Almost. Let's see if we... 45 minutes left. Let's see what we can do. All right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. It's a toll-free number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Steve Fletcher. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Steve. Oh, my goodness. What a rough morning. People think this is easy.
I was going to say, yeah. I've listened to Alex Jones for probably 10 years on and off, and I know what you're saying. He is kind of bombastic, and he's kind of excited, but there is a lot of good information he does provide. He's got a really good crew. I was just going to say, like the other gentleman, just go to Infowars.com. You'll have your firewall may even fire off on you on your laptop, so just be aware of that.
Oh, really?
I also agree with you about Glenn Beck. He's a little odd, but the thing that kind of threw me off was when you first were a little bit controversial about your opinion about Alex but Laura Loomer likes him, has been on there numerous times, so has other people that you like. So I think if you watch him with a certain lens, you would appreciate him, but you're right. You have to be a little careful when you listen to him.
Well, I'm not, all right, well, I appreciate the call. Okay, a little bit. There was no weirdness from that call. Let's see if we can keep it going. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from your show.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you doing today? Brian, I watched the highlights of the debate, and if anybody wonders why Trump is so far ahead, besides his own ability, the exhibition they put on and the infighting there was really, I don't want to say it was disgraceful. It was okay to watch, but they look like the JV team compared to Trump. It was kind of embarrassing to watch, actually.
Well, it was, at the end of the debate, a photo came out that someone took up in the gallery after the cameras were off of Chris Christie confronting Megyn Kelly, all ticked off. And Megyn Kelly yesterday talked about this. She said he came up to her after the debate, Chris Christie, and was yelling at her because she didn't ask him enough questions. And her response to him was fantastic. She says, "You're only polling at 2%. Which...
I'm not even sure he's at 2%, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on what... She was being generous, but that's a humiliation. She said, you're not relevant enough to ask questions to. You're not worth it.
Open season on the women now, where Megyn Kelly can be confronted like that, and Marjorie Taylor Greene got confronted the day before. What is this?
Well, now that we're down to a 2-seat majority in the House, if the guy that assaulted Marjorie Taylor Greene's out, we'd have a 1-seat majority.
Getting very thin. Very thin.
I'm wondering. Some of this was my podcast last night. McCarthy leaving the House at the end of the month will give us a 2-seat majority. And that means, and there's a lot of turncoat Republicans when bills come up. Kevin McCarthy very well could be trying to turn the House over to the Democrats again.
Oh boy!
If we lose two Republicans, they could get the Speaker.
You think this would be like an act of vengeance on his part?
Yes.
To support you?
Yes. Yes, I
I could see him trying to do something like that.
And it's not that hard because there's a lot of listen. There's only about a dozen or so congressmen that you're aware of, the ones that are on TV all the time. There's a whole bunch of others, and they offer them some big corporate fake job to make them and their families millionaires a few times over. They'll resign too. And then one thing about Kevin McCarthy that we've learned is he's a very nasty, vindictive man. And handing the House over to the Democrats is entirely possible with only a 2-seat majority when he leaves at the end of the month.
It's a terrible thing to think, but we know the history of McCarthy, and I think he would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Vengeance on him.
Well, he's the one that got rid of Santos last week because Johnson was going to keep Santos, and Kevin McCarthy threw his weight around, and Santos is out because of it.
Unbelievable. The other point I was going to make, if we're talking that it's true that Biden is wandering around the White House late at night with no clothes on and stuff, we're looking at a guy with full-blown dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this a risk to our national security?
And anyone in the White House who's a party to this is a criminal. Anyone. They're taking part in a very hardcore crime. I don't know what the crime is, but there's a crime. They're all criminals allowing this to happen. It's beyond scary.
Doesn't the president take a mandatory physical every year?
Please.
Yeah, I know.
Give me a break. All right, man. Take care. Appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Steve from Chicago.
Hey, Steve.
Hi. Yesterday I tried calling, but I couldn't get through for some reason. But I just wanted to say it was Pearl Harbor Day, and it seems that our nation doesn't remember 82 years ago. It's like I thought it was going to be the day of lives in infamy. But then I guess I didn't see all the other news stations if they covered it. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene, did you see her interview by Tucker Carlson like last week?
I did, yeah.
Oh, wasn't that amazing? I mean,
well, I don't know. I think the interview I did with her was a little bit better. I'm kidding. You didn't? We had her on the show a couple weeks ago. I had her first before Tucker.
Wow. Oh man, I'd love to catch that. I guess you got.
You missed a good one.
Yeah. I would love to see that.
But about December 7th, okay? I mean, please, people have forgotten 9/11, and there's only like 3 people left around that remember Pearl Harbor as it happened. So if they, you know how that goes. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB. Hi, brother Brian.
Hey, IB, what's up?
It's really interesting how before 2020 election, the Democrats were hooting and hollering about how they wanted to have someone that's presidential and cognitively sound in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted. They stole the election, and now
I like.
He's actually walking down the street straight up.
Well, a couple weeks ago, there was the audio wasn't good enough for me to play on the show, but Biden was talking to the press on Air Force One in flight, and Jean-Pierre was with him, and he was talking, and Jean-Pierre interrupted Biden to correct him, and he shut her down. He says, "Don't do that." He said to her, "Don't do that," and she shut the heck up. I was shocked to see it.
That's because when he called athletes that are black boys, he's saying the same thing. She's black, shut up, girl.
All right, okay. All right, appreciate the call. There's too much race on the show. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? I don't know. Okay, there we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Arizona Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, did you see the bit where Megyn Kelly was saying that Trump's now got dementia because he said Obama's name instead of Biden's name?
I did not.
Maybe.
Megyn Kelly said, when did she say that? When was that?
I saw that yesterday in a piece. I don't know.
Let me tell you. You know, I tell you. I couldn't remember the name Zillow earlier. All right, do I have dementia because I couldn't think of Zillow? Give me a break. There's people misspeak.
Yes, Trump, no doubt about it.
You know, the thing about Megyn, yes, I agree with you. I like Megyn Kelly. She does very good. I thought she did very good in the debate. She put Ron DeSantis in perspective in the debate, you know, and all of that. So she's good at what she does. She doesn't have to like Trump to be a good journalist. You know, I think she's obviously leans conservative, but a journalist, you're not really supposed to know a journalist's favorite politicians, you know? And if you don't know their favorite politician, they're doing their job well. I don't think she likes Trump either. I don't think she likes men. You know, she's married to one of these very weak metrosexual, you know, her husband's a writer. I know he's a best-selling writer now because he's Mr. Megyn Kelly. But you know what I mean? She's the man in her marriage. She has a problem with men. You know, that's it. She just doesn't like strong men.
That ticked me off when I saw it. I saw it myself. This isn't hearsay.
I missed that. No, I believe you. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
So I heard that same thing, but I didn't hear her say the word dementia. What she said, and I think it was Glenn Beck or Joe Pack she was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying that, you know, he just doesn't seem to be on his game. He's not the same as in 2016. But what I take it as, because he misspoke a few words. Well, you know, with everything going on, I would think, you know, if he just, I've heard him say a couple of things that were maybe wrong.
I don't think so. He's not. Give me a break. First off, to say that he's not where he was in 2016, I would beg to differ. I watch him on the weekends. He'll do, like he was in Iowa on Saturday. He did 2 speeches in Iowa. Before and after those speeches, there's huge meet and greets with everyone. Then he flew back to Florida and did a speech in Jupiter. He did 3 speeches on Saturday with meet and greets and shaking hands and all this stuff. Give me a break. He's doing more now than when in 2016.
Yeah, I think he's just doing it differently, obviously, as before versus before.
More behind the scenes.
He's got a strategy, but she never used that word dementia to my knowledge. But still, you know, she was just saying that. And I've heard, you know, of the debate. I didn't watch it. I didn't even listen to it, unfortunately. But you know, everybody's coming out and saying that DeSantis, well, it wasn't his greatest, but you know, he seemed to be the winner in that whole thing.
DeSantis? Who said that? I mean, he was destroyed.
DeSantis was. I don't know.
Oh yeah, destroyed. Oh yeah, Megyn. First off, he was dressed down by Ramaswamy, but Megyn Kelly brought up the poll where he's 30, 40 points behind Trump in Florida. And if you see the look on DeSantis' face, I mean, he looked like he was going to vomit. He was yeah, oh yeah. He was devastated in that. All right, Joel, appreciate the call. All right, now I will say we have elevated the quality of the calls in the last segment. I must say that. Let's keep it going. Okay, we're here till 9. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
William, yes, you are absolutely correct, William Livingston. That's correct. I would not be shocked if we lose control of the House before the election. A 2-seat majority? When's the last time there's been a majority so slim? Wow. I was talking about this last night. DeSantis has put on a different type of shoe now. Someone's on the podcast. He's wearing like mechanics boots. You know? So bizarre. Yeah, I might have tweeted a picture of them. They're like oil-resistant boots. Let me see. I might have... Let me see. Let me see if I can find that picture. I didn't retweet it. Let me see if I can find it. I thought I tweeted the picture yesterday, but I didn't. No, I can't find. I'll tweet it later today if I can find it again. I saw it on Twitter yesterday.
The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hope, Arkansas.
Hey, what's up?
Hi. I've been aiming to call you for a long time. I want to talk to you. We got two people from Hope. One's famous and the other one's infamous. And one of them is Mike Huckabee and the other one is Bill Clinton. Or no. But I just want to talk to you about Ross Perot.
Yeah.
When he running.
I do?
Well, he's from Texarkana, which is 30 miles from Hope.
Oh, you're in, okay. I couldn't understand. You're in Hope, Arkansas.
That's right.
Oh, okay. The home of Bill Clinton. Okay. And I didn't know Huckabee was from there. Okay.
It really is. He was born here. It wasn't his home. He started school here, but he was raised in Hot Springs. But
yeah,
I want to talk to you about Ross Perot. Ross Perot only reason to get Bill Clinton elected.
That's correct. You're correct. That's correct.
So halfway through, it looked like he's going to win, and he
dropped out.
Story that somebody threatened his family and backed out.
And then he came back in.
Didn't come back in. That's right.
You know, the thing. I was talking about this actually a couple months ago on the show. I learned about. I never knew this until recently. I was watching a documentary on the Tonkin Gulf incident and found out that the naval pilot at Tonkin Gulf was Admiral Stockdale, who was Ross Perot's running mate. That's when I realized that Ross Perot was a deep state operation. I don't know who put him up to it, but it definitely, yeah. George Bush would have been, people forget, a year before the election, George H.W. Bush had a 91% approval rating. 91%. And then a year later, he lost to Bill Clinton because Ross Perot split the conservative vote. You are correct. All right. It's open phone, so to see what I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness.
I hope they built it.
Okay. All right. I appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, if Steve's listening, I'm in trouble. I'm going to be getting my ear chewed off after this. Steve's off today. He's got a place he's got to be. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm from Boynton.
Hey, what's up, Boynton? Oh, my goodness.
Hey, listen, so I wanted to tell you, when we were growing up, way back in the 60s and 50s and all, we used to get cereal, and in the cereal, there were always toys.
Yes.
Toys, like in the Cracker Jacks and all that. And, every one of those things was made in China.
Back then?
Back then.
In the 50s and 60s, the Cracker Jack toys were made in China.
Yes, it was printed right on the toy or the package.
Okay.
China. But, we never thought about it. It was like, oh, made in China, and everything. So, how do we know that these Chinese have been working up to this all this time, and they're very patient people. And now all of a sudden, all this stuff is happening.
Yeah. Well, I do remember, with the Cracker Jack toys that they don't have toys in there anymore. But I don't know if you remember the Cracker Jack toy that was the little pinball machine. Do you remember that one? Oh yeah,
no.
I do remember that one. I remember that one, a little plastic pinball machine, and it worked unless you pulled it too hard and then it broke. Well, the thing about China. See, I've talked about this a lot. Donald Trump did a lot of things that upset the establishment, but the one thing he did that turned them against him forever is when he equalized the import-export taxes between the United States and China. Okay? China still has that developing nation status going on. Okay? And the import-export taxes are out of balance, not just with China, but everyone, but China in particular. And all the multinational corporations that are the donors of the Uniparty, their entire business plan is set up around slave labor in China. And and when Trump equalized the import-export taxes, that's what caused most of his problems. They don't like him for a lot of reasons, but that's the pocketbook, and that's why they fear him this time around too. But that's, and it's awful. I mean, China has we're not only are we completely dependent, you can't even get an aspirin without China.
And having soldiers at the end of my street saying, you can't go out of your house.
Well, look what's happened at the border this week. I was telling this about. They caught several dozen Chinese. They're obviously military at the southern border. Military haircuts, computerized luggage, smart luggage is where you can plug in your phone and charge it on the suitcase, and then a Chinese in Colombia. A YouTuber found a Chinese spy hotel where the Chinese, they're taking them through South America in Colombia and then transporting them to the United States, with all the illegals. They're making their way in, and when they get here they say, oh, we're escaping the oppression of China, and they let them in, and there's an entire operation moving God only knows how many Chinese into the country, and they're all military age. Something's going on.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you.
All right, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Berta from Texas.
Hey, Berta.
I'm calling because my husband, the majority of his business and everything that he gets his product from is China.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said this. What if we get into war with China and they completely cut us off? There's no way in heck that China will ever go broke because we're giving them all our money. I thought about, I don't know if this will be a good idea for you, but I thought about maybe if you do one of those YouTubes to turn things around and show, made in China. Everything from the dollar store to Neiman and Marcus, you have everything made in China. It is a very scary concept.
Well, there's an upside to it, okay? We get everything from China. I mean, everything. I'm sure everything I'm wearing is from China. And medicine, clothes, our dog, but they're dependent on us to buy all their crap. So there is a little bit of balance. If they cut us off, how long could they survive? Because the United States still is the largest economy in the world. Believe it or not, even with Biden wrecking it, we're still the largest economy in the world.
But they do up to our cars, parts for our cars. They do batteries.
Everything.
Everything. And this is how they steal the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those bullet antennas, driving around and spikes coming out of the set claps?
I mean, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. So this is how they steal the idea. He did the idea, drew it, spoke to the big Chinese guy, and said, this is what I want, this is how I want it, and then he's going to patent it. Well, the Chinese stole his idea, okay, and all they did is change a couple of letters because he has the letters of his company on the side of each of those little lum nuts that he sold. But this is how they stole ideas from him because he has businesses in Miami. And so this is how they steal all the American technology and everything.
Well, they do. I mean, if you go online, you can find, they clone everything, Ford Explorers to Rolls Royces, okay, and then they sell it. All right, listen, I got to run. I appreciate the call. There is only one opening on the board, and we have elevated the quality of the calls. So the audience has answered my call to increase the quality of the calls, at least towards the end of the show, so I don't look too bad. You know what I mean? All right, we'll be right back.
Hard Truth.
All right, and it has been an exciting week for the precious metals. On the line, William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals ending the week?
So far, pretty much stable. They took a little up and down cycle this morning when the jobs reports came out, but pretty much holding in above 2,000 with no problem. Gold yesterday was up $3, closing at $2,028.10, trading in a range from $2,019 all up to $2,040 yesterday. Silver was down 9 cents at $23.78, while platinum gained $19 yesterday at $907, and palladium gained $27 to $956. This morning we've seen gold trading in a range from about 2012 to about 2034, currently at $2,022.30, that's down $5.80. Silver down 14 cents at $23.65. Platinum up $10 at $9.17. And palladium up $4 at $960. So market's still giving us a buying opportunity well under that $2,147 we heard earlier.
Yeah, the gold's great. How is silver looking? How are Eagles and such in the silver area? How are those good buys right now?
Absolutely, silver is on sale with the premiums way back down to excellent values now. So there's great buys. Not only is silver lower than it was, but it's got some low premium coins that you can buy now that give you good opportunities.
Well, that's great news to hear. Okay, for you silver people out there. And are most customers gold people and silver people, or do most people mix it up?
Usually they mix gold and silver together. They usually get a nice rounded portfolio.
Absolutely. Well, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or give him a call. He opens at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, have a great weekend. We will talk on Monday.
Okay, thanks.
All right, back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right. There are two openings on the board. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is the number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Faith from Michigan calling.
Hey, Faith.
Hi. Well, you are the best. You do a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't worry about the quality of the callers because you really do make the show, despite whoever calls in. It's a wonderful show.
Well, this is one. Well, I appreciate the kind words. This is one of those days. It's really good, when we have low quality calls on Open Phone Friday, because it shows that we shouldn't do this every day. When you remember what Rush said on Open Phone Friday? We turn the show over to rank amateurs, and you find out how that goes, right?
Right, but I still enjoy it. And I was listening earlier, wanted to comment on the ladies competing in sports, and I came up with a whole solution for that, in my opinion, anyways. A transgender group. Let them have their own group. They can compete.
Yeah, they don't want their own group. They don't want their own group. There's the question with the transgendered athletes is a simple question. Okay, there's a few questions, but are they really transgender, or are they just cheaters? And I believe that they're cheaters.
Right. Well, I thought that might have been.
I mean, look at this. I was talking about this guy in Canada. He's 50 years old. Now he says he identifies as a teenage girl, and he went and participated in a swim meet with 13 and 14-year-old girls and showered in the locker room they were in. That's a new story. That's this week.
Oh my gosh! Well, I thought they had a solution, but
no,
they're not willing to accept. They have their.
Well, if they they can't cheat if they're all on the same team. Hey, I appreciate the call though. Thank you so much. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. James from Boca.
Hey, James.
We're all over the board here today. One thing that I want to point out, and just kind of, I always jump on this, and I know I do this, but the border. We didn't have any toilet paper, we didn't have any peanut butter, no formula, no diapers for our kids. It all got shipped down to the border.
Correct.
Now, the people that put this in context in their head, we have a couple thousand people a day to 15,000 people a day.
They had, day before yesterday, 12,000 in one location.
And it's happened in one location there's 9 total.
Mm-hmm.
But just think about it as this. Every 1,000 is a battalion.
Okay.
It's scary to think about like that, but every 1,000 men that come across that border equals 1 battalion.
I did not know that. A battalion is only 1,000 men?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought it was more than that. Oh, my goodness. So how many, oh, my goodness.
1,000 men. A regiment is like 5,000 men.
So what do you think? In the Trojan horse here, that's what's going on? We're being invaded for an operation in the future? By who? Who's doing it?
Deep state, however you want to put it. But my Spanish teacher told me this in 1981. She goes, we will be back to take Texas back in the sun.
Where'd you go to school? Mexico? Oh, she was Mexican.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, my goodness.
Teacher was Mexican.
Oh, my goodness.
Spanish.
We will be back?
Class. What?
She said we will be back and take Texas? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
You better learn Spanish because it's going to become the second language of America. That was in 81, and by 99, it is the second language of America.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I failed Spanish in 9th grade, and I almost did not graduate college because I had there's a foreign language requirement, and it took me a long time to get through the foreign language. But I remember in 9th grade, my teacher, she says, if you don't learn Spanish, you will not be able to function in South Florida by the year 2000. Remember, everything was by the year 2000. I've gotten by pretty good. I've gotten by pretty well. Yeah, I know. Texas. Well, let me tell you.
You don't speak Spanish. You don't eat.
Well, the thing with Texas, okay, the thing with Texas, a lot of what's going on is about the Turn Texas Blue movement, okay? If they turn Texas Democrat again, it's been Republican, strong Republican for few decades now, 25 years or so. But if they turn Texas Democrat again, the country's lost. That's it. And their whole focus is to turn it blue.
Their driver's licenses in California.
Mm-hmm.
If they bring a California driver's license to Florida, we're not accepting it.
Well, California is the model for the Democrat model for the nation, and in California, whites are the minority in California.
God help us.
Yeah. All right. Take care. And by the way, when I was in Los Angeles, I was there 2 days before I saw a black person. Okay, it's Hispanic, and we're the minority. You know, I was reading today. I saw a couple stories. One of them. Did you see this story about IKEA? This girl, she went on TikTok. IKEA prices, same couch, twice as much as it was when Biden became president. And yeah, that's inflation. And I was reading an article this morning in the Daily Caller, which is that news outlet that Tucker founded. Americans' retirement savings have been hit hard by sky-high inflation under President Biden. Thousands of dollars of losses per person, according to a new report that is just out. With both declining real stock indexes and high inflation, when you take all that into account, 401ks have declined on average of $33,200 in real terms, or 24.8% per person since Biden took office. I mean, this is crazy. And, you know, we talk about Joe Thomas, and, you know, Joe Thomas, call him up. He's offering free consultations, right? No matter where you are, you can schedule a free phone consultation with Joe Thomas. Talk to him about annuities. This blew my mind when I first met and spoke with Joe Thomas about annuities. With annuities, your money's protected, you won't lose money, and you're guaranteed income. Unlike these 401k people that have lost almost 25%. And you know what? It's getting worse because Biden's still in office. Call Joe Thomas. He's got 2 free offers for you. One, free copy of his book, Retirement Know-It-All, which is a great book. I've read the book. It is filled with actionable information that you can use if you're already retired or planning on retiring at some point in your life. And the free phone consultation that you can take advantage of no matter where you are located. Give Joe Thomas a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com, and you can get the number there, jupiterjoe.com. All right, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, what's up?
Do people realize that China owns most of the major meat packing plants in the United States?
Yeah, they control our food supply.
Yes, they do. And that's very scary. And they're buying up farmland as well.
Well, you know, listen, this is the deal. And, you know, Kristi Noem and Marjorie Taylor Greene have talked about this, and both of them are on Trump's short list for vice president. All Chinese-owned farmland should be seized, right? They should not be owning any farmland whatsoever. But the problem with that is they buy it through companies that are 10 or 20 removed. It's hard to track it all down. But the idea that they could own control of our food sources has a significant impact. What if they own, I don't know, whatever percentage of the farms, and all of a sudden decide that, they're not going to let the crops grow.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Also, I can't wait till Trump gets into office because my son is Army National Guard and his company is up for deployment next.
Yeah.
Going anywhere.
Yeah. All right, well, I appreciate the call, okay? Take care. Have a great weekend. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Smoke, Miami.
Yeah, what's up?
I got a question. That dude you're talking about, the transgender that took...
Oh, that's nice. I probably, oh my goodness, had to use the delay once at the end. Isn't that nice? Let me hit it twice just to be sure, Mike. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, that'll be it for the calls for today. Hey, it's fun. It's a great way to start. I don't mind. The low-quality calls just makes us look better, doesn't it, Steve and I? Listen, everyone, it's been a great week, but on the next Open Phone Friday, let's do a little better. We got. You know what's weird? You know what? It's always amazed me about the creeps that call. This is what's really amazed me. These aren't kids. Sometimes during the summertime, and sometimes during Christmas break, we'll hear from kids. Like high school kids and stuff that are punking around and trolling. But guys like that guy's like 60, 65 years old. And it always blows my mind when we have these grown men that say these things that I can't imagine, and they think it's cute and funny at their age. But a lot of it has to do with the time of the year, because guys that are, alone during the holiday times get weird and stuff, but it just blows my mind. If those were like teenagers that were calling with things like that, I wouldn't be so surprised. But when it's a grown man, it's something else. I got to tell you guys, it's been a great week. We've had a great time. I want to tell you all, though, and remind you, it is Christmas shopping season, and Mike Lindell at MyPillow is offering free shipping with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout on anything you buy at MyPillow.com, all right? No matter what you buy, free shipping. And by the way, it's not just free shipping. You also get the deal, right? So whatever you're buying, you get to take advantage of that special and free shipping, but only until December 15th. I called Mike Lindell's office up on Monday and asked them if they would do that for us, and I was shocked. Within a minute, Mike Lindell himself approved it because he appreciates you guys in the audience. So this is your time to load up for both Christmas and maybe Valentine's Day and throughout the year. Whatever you purchase at MyPillow.com, free shipping with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Again, on top of whatever deal you're getting on the special you choose. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Again, the free shipping ends on the 15th. Also, I want to be very clear about this, because this is important. Steve and I will be at Wings Plus next Sunday, not this Sunday, Sunday the 17th, a week from Sunday, at 2 p.m. we'll be at Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Not this Sunday, a week from Sunday, just so you guys know. And I hope to see you guys there. You're going to have a great time. Steve and I have not done an appearance in over a year, maybe close to a year and a half, outside of the cruises. So if you've never met us, come out and meet us at Wings Plus. But it'll be a week from this Sunday, just to be clear on that. All right, guys, we've had fun. The calls today were, maybe you shouldn't upload this one as a podcast, Mike. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. When I hit the dump, does it go on the podcast? Oh, my goodness. We got to cut that last one out. Let's not give that guy. All right. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It's been a great week. See you Monday. Take care, everyone.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and Hurry Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County
Oh, my goodness.
106.9 FM. Programming
What a day. All right, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe.